They want us to write the equation of this conic section in standard form and label all the good stuff. So first of all, again, notice that this is going to be, because there's two squared terms, an x squared and a y squared, but the signs are opposite, this is going to be a hyperbola. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe skip a few steps from normal, not explain it as thoroughly, but just go through and do the problem. Alright, so first of all, I'm going to separate out my x's and y's, and I'm going to move the 302 to the other side. Now I'm going to add, first of all I'm going to factor out a 9, and I'm going to factor out a -1. That's really important to factor out the negative there. And so that's going to be a -4y equals -302. Now what I'm going to do is add the same thing to both sides, which is half of this squared, which is 25. So I'm adding 25, which means I have to add 9 times 25 to the right side. I'm adding half of this squared, which is -2 squared, which is +4, but I'm really adding a -4, so I have to add a -4 to the other side as well. This is 25 short of 250, so that's 225, and this is -306 plus 225, so the difference there is 81. So the difference there is -81. And notice that was a -81, so what's going to happen is when I factor these things, the signs are actually going to flip on me here. Because when I divide by the -81, this now is going to become a negative x minus 5 squared all over 9, and this is going to become a positive y minus 2 squared, whoops, positive is right there, equals 1. So there's my equation in standard form. Let's take that equation and now let's graph it. Okay, so my center is at +5, +2. Let's graph that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. There's my center right there. I'll put a little X on it. It's going to open. Notice that the y is positive, which means it opens up and down. And so I'm going to go up. I'll do this in color coding. I'm going to go up 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's way up here. Let me scoot this over here. Equals 1. There's up 9. And look, I like to just label the points while I do it so I don't forget. So this is 5, comma, I added 9 to 2, so that's going to be 11. And going down 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is right here. And that point's going to be 5, comma, now I'm subtracting 9 from 2, which is -7. I'd always check it like that, just algebraically think about what you're doing with those things. And now the square root of 9 is 3, and that just means how far over my box is going to be. And this box right here, let me erase the 511 right there. So I'm going to go ahead and write the vertices in here. Vertices are 5, comma 11 and 5, comma -7. So I can erase these now so I have a little bit more room with my graph. This right here is a box that I'm going to draw in, because that box helps me understand where my, did I draw that? 1, 2, 3, yeah. Helps me understand where my asymptotes are going to be. So I'll make the asymptotes yellow, because I don't have a dotted line to work with. So here's my, that's not that great of an asymptote, but you get the idea, like that. And so these are my points, and my graph's going to do this. And over here it's going to go down as well, running out of room at the bottom there. But that's my actual graph. Now the last thing we have to find is the focus. so I'm going to use green for that. The focus, remember, there's some value right here. There's some point somewhere up here and somewhere down here called the foci or the foci, where this distance is c up and down, and that distance c is related to these two things. 9 plus 81 equals c squared. Pythagorean relationship there. So 90 c equals plus or minus the square root of 90, which is, simplify that, 3 square roots of 10. So here's what I like to do. I just take 3 square roots of 10 and I add that. Notice I'm going in the y direction. I'm adding that to the y coordinate. 2 plus or minus, it's that simple. These are my foci. 2 plus or minus the square root of 10 is the y coordinate, and 5 is the x coordinate, of course. So this point up here is 5 comma 2 plus 3 root 10, and this point down here right there is 5 comma 2 minus 3 root 10. And those are all my important points. The last thing I need to do is the asymptotes, and that's actually a pretty easy thing to do because I already have, I'll do this in gold since those are my asymptotes in yellow there. The asymptotes go through the center right here, and that center of course is 5, 2. So I'm going to use my point slope form of the equation of a line, which is y minus the y coordinate equals the slope, which is up and over. Remember, I went up 9 and over 3, so 9 divided by 3 is 3. So it's plus or minus 3 times x minus 5. I put the plus or minus in there because one of them is going up and to the right, that's a positive slope, while the other is going up and to the left, which is a negative slope. So either plus or minus takes care of both of those. And there's your equations.